It's Friday Night Lights, and here with this week's show is your host, Patrick Michael Cunningham III.
Thank you, little voice in my head. I'm Patrick Cunningham. This is Friday Night Lights. We are going to talk about today football equipment and how to set up for a game. State semifinals are tonight. A lot of people don't know exactly how much equipment is needed to suit up. So today I brought with me a model, Kyle Broussard. And I wanted Nick Rackley, but I needed someone who could fit in the shot and that I could reach up and put a helmet on. But Kyle, even though he's wearing this, will model for us how to put all this equipment on, how to properly inspect it. I've been a coach at Gorman now for the past 2 years, and the worst day by far is equipment day, that first day of handouts, because one, there's so much, and two, you have to make sure it's exactly right, and just to be sure that you have the safety of the kids in mind and that none of them get hurt. So first off, we are going to start off with your helmet. And helmets have come a long way. They've only been worn in football for about 100 years, even though football's been around for about 150. They used to be leather caps, but now they are mostly hard metal and plastic. This is a face mask, and face mask has about 5 screws that go into it, and you have to make sure it's properly secured and all that. And quick disclaimer, there is a lot of controversy over whether to play football because of concussions and what type of rules or different stuff you need to prevent concussions. There's no helmet in the world that is going to 100% prevent them, but you can take measures to make sure that you can try and reduce the risk as much as you can. All right, so Kyle, if you will put this on. Okay, so what you have to be sure, one, is that it's tight enough on his head, and that looks pretty good because we haven't strapped it, but we just want to make sure there's not too much wobbling where his head will hit the side of it if he takes a blow to the head. Next thing you want to make sure of is that the chin straps are properly set to reach all the way back here. So if it's too short like this one is, you have to adjust for this. So you will pull back this plastic right here. This plastic is not cooperating at the moment. Let's try the other side. There we go. So to make it longer, you're going to pull the piece of plastic down and then fold it right back in. So Kyle, if you'll turn this way. Keep in mind that after about 10 games or so, this will cooperate less and less. So that's how you adjust it that way. And if you want to go the other way, you pull up on it like so. So he's all strapped up, and he is ready to go out there. I'm just going to strap up one right now for time purposes. So next, coming up, we are going to show how to put on a pair of shoulder pads. So when testing out shoulder pads, you want to make sure that these flaps right here come right over the shoulder blade, leaving no part of his shoulder exposed in case he takes one of those, which are very common. Next, you want to make sure that you loop these laces through here and that you pull it very tight, because if not, these will separate and your helmet will go through the shoulder pads right into his rib cage, so nobody wants that. So when we come back, we are going to talk about how to put on girdle and pants. First, we'll hear from our coffee sponsors, so we'll see you then.
I made your favorite coffee.
Oh, thank you. That was so nice.
Smile. Oh yeah, Snapshot be stupid.
Thank you for our sponsorship from Snapshot Coffee, and just a disclaimer to that commercial, that couple you saw broke up like 5 days ago, so sorry for them. But all right, next we are going to put on a pair of pants, and in the pants, if you turn them inside out like this, you will have to put the knee pads in, and since it's inside out, to make sure they come out right when you turn it back the right way, you have to put it in upside down and fold it like a taco, and then just kind of work its way inside. Now do it for the other one as well. And you want to make sure that these pads, when you pull them out, when you put them in, cover up the knee completely, because you can be thrown out of a game for not having knee pads on, because other than concussions, yes you can, Nick, the biggest injury other than concussions is knee injury, so refs have really taken a step forward in trying to prevent that. So if Kyle, if you can put this on. This is a girdle which has hip pads and thigh pads inside of it built in, so you don't have to put more pads into your pants. So Kyle, if you'll put this on first, followed. And by the way, for the thigh pads, only thigh pads should go in there. I've had a kid put a cell phone because he thought it was a cell phone protector, which we really loved his ringtone being Taylor Swift, so that was a good day. All right, so now that so you will have hip pads here on the side, and it is an option to flip them up. I don't advise that at all unless you want your hip to become dislocated. Your thigh pads are there, and if you want to make sure that the knee pad is right, there's a logo right here, and if you can feel the logo after you put the pants on, you put it on right. All right, so now for the most difficult part. Kyle, if you will put your shoulder pads back on. Gorman, we bought new jerseys my senior year of high school 2 years ago, and they're tight Adidas jerseys. So before you put the jersey on, what you want to do is you want to pull these through this hole as tight as you can, and then stick that there, and then underneath here. I don't have time for that. All right, so now we will put this jersey on, and I'm going to ask David and Emily to come help me with this. This should be interesting to say the least. It's very tight and very hard to put on. All right, that actually went a lot smoother than I thought it would. All right, so now he's got all this on. Now put your helmet back on. And your final check before, so now you get to tighten this again on this side. That one's the one we tightened. Next, then you have to make sure that all of this, the screws are in place, because if not, the helmet will fall apart. So we have to go around and check every screw as well to make sure everything is tightened. Also, if you'll look down, there are holes right here, very hard to see, but there's a hole right here if you need to add air to your helmet. If you don't have enough, then it won't help prevent concussions. So gotta tighten every screw. Like I said, there's a lot on here. Kyle, thank you for being a good sport by doing this. It's very appreciated. Now the other side. Sorry. All right, and now for some extra swag to add to your field, you can add some team socks like these if you'll turn around and show them the back as well. Really make them look cool. Now you're all ready to go out there and dab on them folks. So remember, safety first, go out there, win a game. Thank you for joining us.